we have the last lecture of Unit 1, and that is nanomaterials. So, we are going to study this lesson today, and what all are we going to study in this lecture? What are nanomaterials, significance of nanomaterials as nanoscale, general applications, categories of nanomaterials, synthesis of nanomaterials. We are also going to study carbon nanotubes, the properties of carbon nanotubes and applications of carbon nanotubes. So, let us begin our studies with what are nanomaterials. The word nano in Greek actually means dwarf, bona. They are materials having at least one of its dimensions in the nanoscale. And what is nanoscale? 1 nanometer equals to 10 power minus 9 meters. So, either in length or in breadth or in diameter, if it is on nanoscale, it will be known as nanomaterial. So, if you have a nanomaterial, you will definitely love to study its science. So, what is nanoscience? The nanoscience is the study of nanomolecules and structure within the size of 1 to 100 nanometers. It is the study of the phenomena and manipulation of materials. It is an extension of the science into the nanoscale based on the fact that properties of materials change as a function of physical dimensions of materials. So, this is nanoscience. Now, what is nanotechnology? Definitely, as the moment word technology enters it, it means the study of technology related to the nanomaterials. So, it is the technology of manipulating a material and its properties at the nanoscale, the atomic or molecular scale, for target specific applications. It is the design, characterization, production and applications of structures, devices and systems by controlling the shape and the size at the nanometer scale. So, nanotechnology finds its application in a large variety, in a large segments of studies like biology, like physics, like chemistry, medicine, law and ethics, social sciences, and even in business it finds application. So, significance of materials at nanoscale. So, when a material is taken at a nanoscale, what is its significance? How does it change in its various properties? So, the properties depend on the size, composition and the structure. We all know that of a material. Nano size increases the surface area. Why? Just imagine 10 to the power minus 9 we are going to talk of. 1 gram of any material, right, can have such a large surface area when taken at a nanoscale. Okay. Change in surface energy, definitely once the area is widened, its energy will enhance. Change in electronic properties, tremendous change in electronic properties is also observed. Change in optical band gap, change in electrical conductivity, higher and specific catalytic activity. We saw fullerene in the earlier lecture. On a single fullerene molecule, 48 hydrogen atoms could be absorbed. That was also a nanoparticle on which. Okay. Change in thermal and mechanical stabilities. Okay. Different melting and phase transition temperatures at nanoscale. Change in catalytic and chemical reactivity is observed at nanoscale. Now, some of the examples are given. When copper is taken in bulk, we all know copper is opaque substance. But if taken on nanoscale, it becomes transparent. Aluminium, for example, is a very stable metal. We have cookers made of aluminium, we have utensils made of aluminium. But if aluminium is taken at the nanoscale, right, the very stable material becomes highly combustible. So, see how how the properties change when you take material from its bulk to nanoscale. Gold, for example, we all wear gold jewelry, we all use gold in abundance, which is a solid material. It turns into a liquid at room temperature when taken into nanoscale. So, similarly, at nanoscale, a large number of changes may be observed with respect to the materials. So, therefore, materials have a wide change in its behavior when taken at nanoscale. Okay? So, let us talk of some very general applications of nanomaterials, and then we will move on to the specific examples of nanostructures. So, therefore, why do these properties change so tremendously at nanoscale? Because of the two reasons. Reason number one, nanoparticle has a large surface to mass ratio, okay, compared to its bulk counterpart. And number two, the quantum effect also, okay, the quantum effect rules the behavior and properties of a metal at nanoscale, and therefore the properties such as melting point, conductivity, permeability, chemical reactivity, optical properties, magnetic properties change as a function of the size, okay, of the particle size. So, we took a few examples earlier which specified like copper, aluminium. For example, platinum, we know it's an inert metal, but on nanoscale it is used as a catalyst. So, silicon we know is an insulator and becomes a conductor when taken at nanoscale. So, let us talk of some general applications of nanomaterials, and then we will move on to specific studies. Some of the general applications are: nanoparticles are used in display devices, they are used in ultra high performance solar cells, they are used in antibacterial coating for wounds dressing, okay. And then, because you know, have you ever heard of an ointment known as Silverex? It has silver nanoparticles in it, and it is such a ointment that is used for burn treatment as well, okay. So, for burn injuries, a lot of nanomaterials are used, especially the silver nanoparticles are used for covering it up so that no infection enters it. Apart from that, you must have seen an advertisement of, let's say, Lifebuoy, which says it has a silver lining. Why is silver used over there? Because of its antibacterial activity. So, nano silver particles are used in medicine in abundance, okay. Then magnetic nanoparticles exhibit unique nanoscale properties of superparamagnetism, and the nanoparticles improve efficiency of a coolant in transformers. So, we all know that even vehicles use coolants, even four-wheelers use coolants, even bikes use coolants, and transformers need coolants in abundance. Why? Because a lot of heat is generated there, and अक्सर हम सुनते हैं कि ट्रांसफार्मर जल गया, क्यों? क्योंकि बहुत जल्दी गर्म हो जाता है। अभी जो नई टेक्नोलॉजी आ रही है उसके अकॉर्डिंग हम कूलेंट यूज़ करते हैं ताकि उनको हम समय समय पर ठंडा कर सकें, ताकि उनमें ये जो बार बार ख़राब होने की टेंडेंसी होती है, बार बार बिगड़ने का, जलने का फिनोमेना होता है, इसको रोका जा सके, okay. So, used as anti-reflection coating in a light-based sensor for cancer diagnosis as well, okay. So, these were some of the general applications. Now, let us move on to the categories of nanomaterials. The categories: nanoparticles are one of the very important particles. Then fullerenes or buckyballs, they are again very important category of a nanomaterial. We can have nanowires, we can have nanotubes, we can have nanorods, and we can have nanoporous materials as well. So, let us take up nanoparticles first. Okay. So, what are nanoparticles? Nanoparticles are defined as particles having less than 100 nanometer size, that means between 1 to 100 nanometer size in any one of the dimension, and which exhibit enhanced size dependent properties. How do we prepare nanoparticles? Okay. Synthesis of nanoparticles. So, there are two major technologies that are used: top down or bottom up approach. So, it is done It is done by various physical, chemical and biological self-assembling techniques. Number one, top down. Top down means you have a bulk, you start breaking it till you reach a nano scale. Okay, so breaking up the bulk material, and bottom up means you have very fine molecular level, atomic level particles, you build it up together to form a nano material. So bottom up approach is to build up the material or atom or molecule into a cluster which is of nano size, which can be used for various technological applications. Fine. So let's move on further and talk of an important aspect, and that is carbon nanotubes. Now, as I said, in fact, on the very first advent, on the very first discovery, fullerenes in an elongated state, the larger size of fullerenes, were considered to be tubular, and therefore they were known as nanotubes. Why? Why were they known as nanotubes? Because they were nano in one direction and they were tubular in nature. So carbon nanotubes came into existence initially with the discovery of fullerene and with the discovery of and study of fullerene itself. So carbon nanotubes are nanotubes of pure carbon with a nanostructure. Nanostructure means it is on the scale of nanometers, at least in one dimension, and where one of the dimension is in nanoscale. Okay, the diameter to length ratio over here in the case of carbon nanotubes may be of the order of 10 to the power minus 6 as well. Okay, diameter is so small and the length is comparatively large, right? So अब हम बात करते हैं कार्बन नैनो ट्यूब्स की. ये दो प्रकार की हो सकती हैं. कैसी? एक तो सिंगल वॉल कार्बन नैनो ट्यूब्स, एज यू कैन सी ओवर हियर. This is single wall carbon nanotube and this is multi-wall carbon nanotubes. That means it has concentric circles in it, that is multi-wall, and single wall means only one wrap, that is single wall carbon nanotube. Okay? So, how do we prepare them? How do we synthesize them? These carbon nanotubes. Okay? So, the preparation by arc method, just like in carbon 60, that was one of the ways I said over there also, that the slightly larger fullerenes apart from carbon 60, carbon 70, carbon 80 and so on, they are more like nanotubes themselves. But okay, experimental conditions over here are a little different. Okay, why? Because we need a larger number of carbon to prepare a nanotube. That is why the experimental conditions over here are a little different from normal fullerene, that is carbon 60. Okay, or using graphite electrodes. And in fact, this, let's have a look at some of the conditions for preparation of carbon nanotubes. Large amount of helium gas, because the whole experiment has to be conducted under the inert atmosphere and therefore helium gas is required. 0.7 atmospheric pressure. Okay, distance between the graphite electrode should be about 1 millimeters. Arc evaporation of graphite, of course using helium as an atmosphere or argon as an atmosphere or methane or hydrogen is also effective. Then maintaining plasma conditions, carbon fiber like deposits on the negative graphite electrode, and that is taken up, separated and used as a nano material. Okay, so we move on to the properties of carbon nanotubes. So therefore, when we look at some of the properties of nanomaterials, normally nanomaterials are very hard, exceptionally strong, they are ductile at high temperature, chemically very active, okay, and wear and tear resistant and erosion resistant they are, and they exhibit a class of magnetic properties, okay, because of the small sizes. They exhibit special magnetic properties because of small sizes, like sodium and potassium on nanoscale show ferromagnetic properties, and iron and cobalt and nickel, they also show superparamagnetism when on nanoscale. Okay, so when we are talking of the nanotubes, definitely we are talking a lot about its properties. So the CNTs have high thermal conductivity, they have high electrical conductivity, very elastic, okay, and then they have high tensile strength, highly flexible, okay, can be used without any damage, and have low thermal expansion coefficient. Apart from that, the carbon nanotubes are about 100 times stronger than steel itself, and where weight is considered, it is just 1/6 in weight. Okay, so, and they have unusual thermal and electrical conductivity, which makes it very important for technological advances. For technological applications, they become very, very important in this way. Okay, so this is how carbon nanotubes can be, uh, of course, taken into as their properties. Now let's talk of the applications of carbon nanotubes. Regarding the applications of carbon nanotubes, when we had taken up the carbon nanotubes, its applications, why? Because it is an era of nanoscience, it is an era of nano studies. So when we talk of the applications of carbon nanotubes, the CNTs show thermal conductivity, we all know that, and they are used for specific property. Because of this specific property, they are used in various ways. Then CNTs have high energy storage capacity, so they are accordingly used for storing high energy. Then CNT composites are used for electrostatically applying paints to the cars and its components. They can form transparent and flexible polymer composites used in the field of emission devices. They are used in tips of atomic force microscopy. Okay, CNTs are used for making fibers and fabrics. CNTs are used in biomedical areas, a lot of application in biomedicine. In fact, they find a lot of application in environmental sciences as well, the CNTs. For water purification also CNTs are used abundantly. For air purification also they are used abundantly. These technologies used, they are powerful and smaller, they are used for making powerful and smaller computers as well. They are used as a catalyst and catalyst support. We had taken that in fullerene as well, that how CNTs are used for as a catalyst and catalyst support, they are used. Okay, so CNTs find a lot of application in environmental studies. For water technology, they find applications for energy in energy devices, and for example, they find a lot of application in fuel cells also. As we said, in medicine also they find a lot of application. Small devices like nanostructures are used for delivery of drug into the biosystem, and these nanotubes are used just like nanocapsules. They are used for delivery of medicine into the biosystem. For pollution control, like even parts per billion ppb level of pollutant can be detected using a nano device. So therefore they find a lot of good applications in these areas. Okay, now the nanomaterials are used in textile industry also. Why? Because this kind of a fabric doesn't need any cleaning, सेल्फ क्लीनिंग मटेरियल होता है। तो अभी इन केस इफ यू विजिट सम ऑफ दीज साइंस म्यूजियम्स and some of these places like Regional Science Center in Lucknow, you will find a whole segment where the nano materials are displayed, their applications are there, and nano fabric is also available there, which is in fact when people go in space, the space suits have this kind of material used for preparing their clothings, which are self cleaning in nature. Have you heard of the paints which are self cleaning? You must have seen a number of ads where paints are shown. They say that they are self cleaning. Why? Because nanotechnology, the nanoparticles are being used which do not let the dust settle on them, and therefore they are self cleaning in nature. They get cleaned up themselves. Okay? So this is also one of the fibers, nanofibers are there which have a lot of application in electronic industry. So that is also an important area where nanotechnology has taken a good lead and is doing a lot of a lot of good to the humanity where nano materials are concerned. So when we talked of in fact the single wall and the multi wall carbon nanotube, I'd like to tell you one more thing. Like, how does the multi-wall, what are the dimensions in which these concentric circles may be there? Okay, so this is a multi-wall carbon nanotube. The inner diameter is about 4 nanometers. The length can vary, and the outer diameter can be about 20 nanometers. Okay. So this is how a multi-wall carbon nanotube would appear. A single wall carbon nanotube will have only this kind of a structure. Fine. So this is how multi-wall and single wall carbon nanotubes can be taken up. Okay. So therefore, as we said that they find a lot of applications all across, and when we study nanomaterials, there are so many things to be taken into consideration. The nanoparticles, they are particles at nanoscale, and these particles, the tools by which these particles are prepared. Tools for preparing the particles, tools for preparing these particles. Okay. So the tools are like dip pen nanolithography can be done. Dip pen nanolithography. Okay. Apart from that, electron beam lithography. Electron beam lithography can also be used to prepare nanoparticles. Okay. Now these are some of the methods using which nanoparticles are prepared. Apart from that, while preparing the nanomaterials, some of the methods by which the nanomaterials are generated. How are they generated? We take a milling method, a milling technology. What is the milling technology? We take a cylinder. This is milling technology. Milling. We take a cylindrical vessel which rotates at a definite RPM, revolutions per minute, in which we keep pieces of the material जिसका हमें नैनो पार्टिकल जनरेट करना है. अब हम क्या करते हैं, इसको एक डेफिनेट आरपीएम पर बड़ी तेज़ी से रोटेट करते हैं. जब हम इसे बड़ी तेज़ी से रोटेट करते हैं तो क्या होता है, ये आपस में टकराते हैं, चिपिंग ऑफ होती है और बहुत सारा हमें नैनो मटेरियल यहाँ पर मिलता है, एक डेफिनेट आरपीएम पर, रेवोल्यूशंस पर मिनट पर हम इसको रोटेट करते हैं। कुछ और भी मेथड है, जैसे हम लेज़र को इंसिडेंट करते हैं बार बार नैनो मटेरियल के ऊपर, और पल्सेटिंग लेज़र को भी हम इंसिडेंट कर सकते हैं बार बार नैनो मटेरियल के ऊपर, और उसमें से थोड़ा थोड़ा नैनो मटेरियल चिप ऑफ होगा और उसको हम कलेक्ट कर सकते हैं। ये भी एक तरीका है जिसकी मेथड से, लाइक डिप पेन मेथड में भी कुछ ऐसे ही होता है, ऊपर से हम लेज़र को इंसिडेंट करते हैं और धीरे धीरे उसमें से नैनो मटेरियल चिप ऑफ होता है। In fact, you know, it is so beautiful that these nanomaterials have been used during the litho era, during that stone age also. How even then, you know, there are incidences where it is quoted that a very fine little particle having specific behavior, like during the excavations it has been found, certain potteries have been found which have scratching on it, which shows a very beautiful engraving on it. That again, the scratching generates nano structures, nano, lines, nano segments, and which gives us its beautiful behavior. Apart from that, there are incidences where in various dynasties they were using glasses of specific type, wherein if you pour poison, they changed color. Okay, so this kind of a technology has been existing. Like the Belgium glasses are known for its beautiful engravings which change color at various light conditions also, because therein the engraving is such that it has nano structures generated on it, which with the effect of light it changes its color. So such kind of a technology has been used for very many years in very many dynasties and generations. And these, though of course we did not know, we coined the name nanomaterial, nanoparticle, nanostructure somewhere in 1950s to be very precise, but they have been existing down the years, and a lot is being done, studied about them during these times. So, you know, even with respect to a number of cases, studies, these nanomaterials have shown their importance. And of course, presently it is an era of nanoscience, it is an era of nano study completely. We want the smaller the structure, the better its efficiency, the lesser the material it uses. So it has its own value now, and in present generation, it is the generation of nanomaterials, nanoscience. A lot of studies being done regarding the nano technology, and in various places like the various IITs and everywhere, a lot of special courses are also conducted. So go deeper into the study. Take this lecture only as a foundation. Thank you so much for attending this particular lecture. This just gives you a food for curiosity so that you can learn more and go into a deeper study. So in chemistry, we are going to study only a bit of nanoscience. In physics, maybe you will be studying a little more about it, and that's it. Thank you so much for attending this particular class. All the very best for your exams. Thank you.